Wednesday, August 19, the Jamaica Defence Force initiated the lockdown of all military camps, bases and duty stations as part of efforts to limit the spread of COVID-19. Here to give us an update and to speak to what this means is Lieutenant Colonel Dameon Creary, Acting Colonel General at the JDF. Good morning, sir. Welcome to Smile Jamaica. It's morning time.
Good morning, Neville. Good morning, Empress, and good morning to your audience.
Good morning.
Thanks for being with us, sir. When you said you've locked down camps, bases, could you tell me everything that has been locked down, sir?
Well, all of our military installations, so camps, bases, and duty stations, we have put our soldiers under confinement as a measure to maintain the health of the force in light of the recent spike in the national COVID-19 numbers. The confinement, among other measures, help to safeguard our soldiers and keep them in a controlled environment so that we may be able to execute all our many roles and responsibilities to the nation.
Which would mean the base in Kingston and the one in Monique and all those bases are closed down, sir?
Correct, all across the island.
I read where they said 4 soldiers tested positive. Were they from just one base, sir?
No, they were not from one base.
What's happening in that instance with the 4 soldiers? I know I read that one has recovered. How are the others doing, sir?
So in relation to the soldiers that tested positive, one has since recovered and the others are in isolation recovering and they're doing very well.
What about if there was a major spike with the JDF and COVID-19, what would happen? Meaning, is there a medical team at base, or would you have to also work with the system that everybody else is working, the other hospitals, etc.?
Thank you for that question, Empress. We have planned for such an eventuality. The JDF's medical system is very robust, and presently we have isolation facilities set up for our soldiers, not only in Upper Camp, but in other areas across the island. And so we are prepared for that.
Sir, the 4 soldiers who tested positive, you keep hearing about the contact tracing. Would you, or do you know who they came in contact with and all those people in isolation? What's the deal, sir?
Yes, we did the contact tracing, not only from our own medical staff in Upper Camp, but also in conjunction with the Ministry of Health and Wellness. And so we have identified the contacts and all the protocols have been followed.
And so all those will have to be tested, sir?
Yes, where the medical team and the Ministry of Health determines that that should be the case, that has in fact already happened. And those that should be in isolation are in isolation. Those that should be quarantined are in quarantine.
Yep.
Colonel, we're saying the JDF has locked down. However, are there any soldiers, any of the force at work on the road? I mean, or is it that everybody has just stopped? The Defense Force is on pause, or are you still operating, even though you're on lockdown?
When we say that we're on lockdown, what it means is that we don't stop any duty whatsoever. We still continue to execute all our roles and responsibilities to the Jamaican people. It simply refers to control measures that we impose to ensure that soldiers are not as free to move about as they would normally be in the general public. And so you will see soldiers at their duty stations and elsewhere. In fact, in spite of the lockdown or the confinement, as we call it, there are soldiers who you will see in the public doing their personal or JDF related business. And we simply ask that you continue to show them the typical support and welcome.
Colonel, is it mandatory for soldiers to test for the COVID-19 disease?
No, it is not mandatory. But what we follow the Ministry of Health guidelines. And so where it is deemed necessary, we do test. In fact, because we have interaction with the public and because of our desire to ensure that we're always in a position to be able to carry out our duties, we perhaps go even a little bit further by ensuring that the conditions under which our soldiers live and work are kept, in a sterile way, and all the necessary protocols are followed.
Final question from me, Lieutenant Colonel. What's the mood? I don't need to tell you that we've had a spike. A couple of days ago, we had 111. Last evening, we had 120. What's the mood with the soldiers in the camp, sir?
The mood and the morale is still quite high. The soldiers, some would obviously prefer to be at home with their families during these uncertain times, but they appreciate the importance of our duties to the nation and are very supportive of the measures that we have taken so far. They have been compliant in wearing their masks, in social distancing, and the various sanitization measures that we have adopted.
Yeah.
And they have gone as far as taking those measures home as well. So both at home and in the work environment, they are supporting the measures.
Sir, on behalf of our citizens, we thank you so much for what you guys continue to do, especially at this time. I pray that you, your family, and